Pass off the corner. Around he went.
Welcome to the Low Line.
Just talking. Here he comes. He got it this time. It's going to be a drag race. Whoa! They touch. Brad Keselowski won this race.
Let's dive into the Low Line podcast this week. Going to go over Fontana. Look forward to Vegas. So, Fontana, what's your thoughts?
Well, my pick was right.
Pick was right.
Kyle Larson. It was wide. I didn't watch all the race because I was up in New York City, but I watched a lot of it at the bar. I got the bartender to play at the bar, and yeah, it was really. I thought it was tight racing for the most part. The top three guys pretty much were the same all day. And then
until the end.
Well, until the end, and then it came in another two or three guys, but yeah, thought it was good.
What did you think about the tire issues? The cars being loose, kind of guys spinning all over the place, kind of looking like NASCAR of old a little bit.
Well, they were going really fast, and they weren't in a draft, and they hadn't been to that track in 2 years. Not a lot of testing's been done at that track in a while. Much less with these cars.
So you're thinking the issues teams are having are more or less the fact they haven't been to the track for a couple of years?
Well, I think it contributes to it. It's probably a combination of the car and a combination of them not going to that track. I don't think they're gonna have the same issues at Vegas. One, because they've already went to an intermediate track, obviously with California, so they have a little exposure to it. But they're not running the same speeds also going into the turns, and they're braking a little bit more in Vegas than they would be in California, so I think that has something to do with it as well.
My thing is, there were a lot of cautions, a lot of guys spinning, a lot of guys stuck with flat tires, but I think it was cool because it was interesting, hey, got a lot of these incidents and stuff, it looks cool, there's cautions, everybody wants to see cars spin out and spin, but if that's going to happen every time we go to 1.5 or 2 mile track, that's going to get old really fast because my favorite guy spins out and he goes 6 laps down because he's going on all flat tires. I'm going to start getting upset, and I think as a whole, it's not a good look for NASCAR.
Right, he did that in the Gen 6 car too.
What are you talking about?
Bubba Wallace.
Who's talking about Bubba Wallace?
You said my guy.
No, I'm saying if I'm a NASCAR fan and I'm watching the race.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Obviously, you didn't.
Obviously.
If you're a fan of a guy and he spins and he's 6 laps down, you're not going to want to watch that race anymore.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be going 100%. 6 laps down when you just slide a car out of a corner and hit nothing. So NASCAR needs to get on this, figure it out. Not only NASCAR needing to figure things out, Hendrick Motorsports kind of may need to figure something out this week with their 2 top guys. I don't think Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson are on good terms right now.
No, I think they'll be fine. I think.
Do you think they're going to go into the office Monday morning or yesterday and say everything's all good?
I don't know if it's all good, but he's not going to retaliate. They're,
I don't think he's going to retaliate.
They have probably the best management structure there with Jeff Gordon, Rick Hendrick, and just squash it at this point. And Kyle and Chase are both very mature.
I'm going to say.
So I don't think it's going to turn into something worse than it.
Listening to Chase Elliott's radio, I don't think things are going to be all good.
In the moment. That was in the moment.
Next week.
That was in the moment. Same thing.
Play the.
Hang on. Stupid motherfucker! Cool 5. He's a fucking idiot. Outside. Another one outside here. Fucking broke again. Piece of shit, motherfucker. God damn it! It broke that right rear again. So. What the fuck is he doing, man? That was a dick move by him for sure. It wasn't even fucking close. I mean, I'm way outside. Next time, hold your wheel.
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay, but you remember what happened with him and Martin Truex when he said, not in clear? What are you thinking? Remember that at Darlington a few years ago? Did they have any problems with Truex after that?
I think on a professional level, nothing will happen, but no. I don't see Chase Elliott giving Larson any breaks for any time in the near future, as far as letting them in or when they get to Talladega, helping them out. I think this is going to hold on for a little bit.
Maybe letting them in on an intermediate track or whatever, or a short track. On a restrictor plate, they're still going to work together because they have to work together on a restrictor plate. So I don't think that's going to change. But a track But
See, man,
a track like Bristol or
especially
a track
if
like
Kyle Larson's kicking Chase's ass all year, he's not going to be happy.
well, that's the thing. That's another point to make. I don't think he really has to worry about Chase because he's always ahead of Chase anyway. So, or if he's not ahead of Chase, he just goes right by him anyway. So it doesn't really matter, you know. So I don't think it's good. Everybody's gonna say what's gonna go down, but I don't know. I really don't think it's gonna turn into that big of an issue.
I had Tyler Reddick this week. I was very excited. I actually had Tyler Reddick in multiple things, in pools and on my sports book, and I really thought this was going to be his week. He was the quickest car, and
he blew a tire.
Now that's something with this next gen car. I mean, I know Tyler Reddick was fast before, but RCR, maybe Tyler Reddick specifically, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. Also, Eric Jones, he maybe had a top 3 car all day.
Mm-hmm. Suarez looked good at the end there too.
So these kind of mid-tier teams, your RCRs, your petty GMS now, Trackhouse, I don't really think they're really considered, under lower teams anymore. I think they're going to be up there every week with the Hendricks, the Gibbs.
I don't know every week. Maybe a track like that.
I think they are, man. Well, if you're fast there, you can be fast anywhere.
You're right. You're right.
That's kind of the track that you're going to show your speed at. Now, on the other hand, I think 2311 needs to pick up the pace. They struggled. They got their cars quick by the end of the race, but you can't wait till the last 50 laps of a race to be fast. You got to be fast all day.
It's a good thing that team has Kurt Busch too, because
if Bubba will help have good input.
Like you said, if Bubba overdrives it, at least they have another guy that's going to be up there who won't make that mistake because he's a very experienced veteran driver.
You got to give it to Rudy Barker for the calls on the pit box. He got that car a lot better for the 23, and Kurt's car got a lot better too throughout the day.
They both have very good crews out there. I will say that very good person.
So, but and that could be a practice thing too. Only having a 20-minute practice session. Like, what is that NASCAR? Come on, bring back at least an hour. And you can't go to the garage to adjust your car in practice. That's not practice. It's a shakedown. Don't call it practice. It's literally a shakedown.
There's a lot of things that I have a problem with what NASCAR does.
All right, so
go back to single car runs.
If you're NASCAR, look, I'm giving you the Steve Phelps hat right here.
There we go.
You're the president of NASCAR. That's an STP hat. Bubba Wallace. Old Bubba Wallace. That's an Eric
Stone
Jones
Temple
hat
Pilots hat.
That's a Stone Temple Pilots hat.
Yeah.
If you got the NASCAR hat on right now,
yes,
and you're the president, you can do whatever you want going into next week. What are the top 3 things? You can only pick 3 things.
Bring back the Gen 6 cars.
No, you can't do that.
What?
Oh,
so you just told me I'm Steve Phelps. I can do anything I want.
That's not logistically possible by this week. It might take a little while because they already sold all those cars to ARCA teams.
In 3 weeks from now, I'd say get the Gen 6 back. But okay, if we're going next week, what would I do? Single car runs, qualifying runs. That's what I would do. That's one.
I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Practice. You go back to the standard. You have 3 practices. You
want to do 3 practices.
Yeah, and you have happy hour too. Hour long.
So 3
That's
hour
relative. It depends on the track too. I think it depends on the track. But if they're going to Vegas, an hour at Vegas. But if they're going to a road course,
I kind of agree with you, but
if they're going to a road course longer.
I think
longer laps.
I think you give them an hour each week, and they can go to the garage during the session and do whatever they need to do. Give them an hour on Saturday. You can qualify later Saturday, maybe Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I think an hour would be just right. This 30-minute practice, it's
ridiculous.
It's not practice. It's a shakedown.
And then the qualifying, they're trying to turn qualifying. There you go. I like Alice in Chains better anyway. But I think they're trying to put on a show at qualifying and the rounds and everything. That's stupid.
I think trying to do a little bit of a show for the fans with that practice.
But it shouldn't be the show. The race is the show. And your best shot at putting on the best show for the race is giving the teams the standardized practices and qualifying runs that they need. So nobody's wadding their crap up. Nobody's not having enough time to figure out what
6 cars spin in a 20-minute practice.
Right, exactly.
That wasn't
but you give them a little bit more time in practice, and they're not spinning out as much. If you give them more time, they're figuring out how their cars are going to operate.
Well, I think these guys had so long in that Gen 6 low horsepower package where you didn't have to worry about spinning out because the car was so easy to drive that
these things are
fast. They got a good car, or a good car, but a race car under them again, and now they have to.
Kyle Larson didn't seem to have a problem with it.
Kyle Larson didn't have a problem, but Kyle Larson wasn't the fastest car all day, but he'll get there.
No, well, he was top 5 fastest all day if you look at the lap times.
Oh, yeah, he was quick all day, but
he was stuck in traffic most of the day, but He was able to catch Reddick and Byron and be up there with them.
Look, you can put them on,
Yeah.
Razor scooters, little electric motors. Kyle Larson's going to find a way to be the quickest on them too.
He will.
No matter where you go, Kyle Larson's going to be the dude.
I enjoyed the race though. Overall, from what I watched, I enjoyed it.
It was very, very encouraging. Like I said, it wasn't a perfect race.
California actually sucks though. So
I
that's a good thing.
thought California made a case to stay because
Honestly, it did. You're
obviously,
right.
California has been talked
terrible.
about.
It's been terrible for years.
It's been talked about, getting torn down and put a little short track in there.
Exactly. Well, that's still the tentative plan right now. For next year, they pushed it back 1 year.
I hope this race convinces everybody that's
Yeah,
a part of that deal. Now,
yeah.
I don't know if there's more to that deal than we know. Maybe there's some kind of permits or something they need to downsize the property. Maybe I've heard, but I think that track needs to stay. I thought you could race multiple grooves. You get on them seams, you slip that surface as a racetrack.
Exactly.
You got to race that track.
It really depends what car you're sending there too, but because the Xfinity race honestly wasn't too bad with the Gen 6 cars they were running in Xfinity. I thought they were pretty.
Oh, the
decent,
Xfinity race was great too, except for the call not to end the race.
And the race after he took the white flag, yeah, that was stupid.
That was a Jones.
That delayed it like 45 minutes. It was ridiculous.
Sand barrel just to watch, the guy we knew who was going to win
the
race.
Took the white flag. And
we knew Custer was going to drive away with it anyway. Although I was hoping my boy Fast Pasta was going to pull one out.
Gregson was right there too the entire time. He hit the wall a few times, which kind of screwed him over.
Well, Alfredo had the fresh tires, but he, I don't know what happened. He should have won that race. Pasta, if you end up watching this, sorry, buddy. But I think all in all, it was a good weekend. I do look forward to Vegas. I think it's going to be a similar race. We're probably still going to see guys struggle keeping the car under them. I think there's still going to be a few weeks here for guys to really get this car figured out and how to drive it, how far they can push it. Because again, they're not practicing long, but hopefully they clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think Vegas will honestly be a better race because they run even tighter here.
Mm-hmm.
So if those cars ran tight at California, such a wide open track, like 4 or 5 lanes at some point of the track, I think it's going to be just fine. I really do. I think Vegas will be good. Kansas will be good later. Charlotte will be good. All.
All right. So a little early pick for the Vegas race. Who do you like? Who's going to be lucky?
Larson
again?
Yeah.
I mean, the dude takes the layups. He just wants the easiest ones.
Larson. Yeah.
I honestly see Tyler Reddick coming back with some momentum off a fast run, being good again. I honestly think Reddick's going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. He showed a lot of speed last year at times, and it seems like he's one of the first guys to get this car figured out. I think he's a hell of a racer. I think he'll be quick again. I'll get back to you with my one to watch. Who did I have last week for my one to watch? Do you remember?
I picked Cindric as the one to watch.
You did, and I don't even think I think he fell to third by the end of the first lap.
Exactly. That's why he was the one to watch. If half the field didn't have trouble qualifying, then he wouldn't have been on the pole. But
yeah, it's not to say underdogs anymore because I think but if I had to say, I think I'd like to see Suarez get back up there. I mean, I thought Suarez would have a chance at it.
That's my long shot for this week.
We can take Danny Suarez. There's a Suarez diecast up there, maybe in the camera angle.
Suarez.
Oh yeah, Amigos.
That's right. That's right. Bubba Wallace was his amigo until he flipped them off.
Nah, they're still amigos.
They
Actually,
are
Danny Suarez says he doesn't keep friends. He doesn't have any friends on the track. I like that mindset.
None of them should have any.
Same
friends
as Joey Logano. He doesn't have friends on track for a different reason.
Everyone's got to hate Joey Logano.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't be such a turd.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody would hate Suarez if he was in position to win races, but he's not in position to win races usually.
No, I've definitely jumped on the Suarez bandwagon a little bit the last few seasons. I like what he's done with that Trackhouse team. Gotten good runs out of that car.
Put Coca-Cola on the car too.
That was cool.
That was a cool looking car.
Got a lot of good sponsors.
Oh yeah.
And you gotta love Pitbull, man. Dale.
I don't like Pitbull. I don't like Pitbull at all, actually.
Pitbull's a party.
I don't like Pitbull at all. I don't think No, actually, I can't stand Pitbull. It's nice that he's in NASCAR. I just can't stand his music. His music's
not a fan?
No.
Not a fan
Never.
of Pitbull?
Never.
Alright, well,
I like Stone Temple Pilots better.
Don't get Chris any Pitbull.
No Pitbull.
Any Pitbull shirts for Christmas or anything. You take a Daniel Suarez shirt, though?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, he's not a bad guy.
Get your Trackhouse shirt.
Just as long as it doesn't have Pitbull on it.
Alright.
Not a picture of the two of them hanging out or whatever. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that nonsense, Rod.
I don't think they'll make shirts like that. Honestly,
they might bring them back. You never know.
Yeah, like a little back to back,
exactly.
Cool guy thing.
There's a market for it. There's definitely a market for it. People would buy. I feel like people would buy it if Pitbull was on the shirt too. To be quite honest with you.
Well, hopefully they're getting plenty of marketing out of Chastain and his watermelon.
Yeah,
Shindig.
I like watermelons too. They're good. Good
Yeah,
for Chastain.
when they're in
He
season.
crashed a few times though.
Oh God, he killed that wall, didn't he? That right. I mean,
But
hey,
didn't he spin again in the race?
well,
or
he,
maybe
he,
they were- maybe
he,
they were
he
just
killed
short-
it in practice.
I know he
and,
killed it in practice.
You know, we had a lot of concern over this car and the safety. Well, that was a good test because that was probably the hardest one of these things that have crashed
Yeah.
so far.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
he was fine right after.
He was actually wearing a correct Hans device, unlike Stenhouse at the 500. So he was.
Oh wait,
definitely proceeding.
Stenhouse wasn't wearing a.
Well, he was wearing the hybrid that a lot of guys have been wearing now,
Yeah.
and I remember they were talking about how he like the in-car camera, he came damn near to hitting his head on the steering wheel. His head went pretty far forward.
Oh jeez.
Now there's no marks on the helmet, so they said his head didn't hit the steering wheel, but they're pretty much saying like he didn't have his straps tight enough on his hybrid Hans. But it's like a hybrid, so like a lot of dirt track guys use them. Because you get a little bit more movement. Larson uses a hybrid Hans device.
I know, which scares me now. It scares me for all of them, man. I don't want their heads snapping like.
Well,
They're
they're
hard.
fine, but you gotta tighten the straps on them a little bit. There's a little bit more room for adjustment on them, and I think
Right.
guys just may adjust them differently. You gotta kind of watch that.
They'll take the risk. Take the risk to get an extra advantage.
Who's surprised you this year so far with performance?
Still real early. I mean, probably Suarez. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we really only had kind of one race to really judge it. 'Cause you can never really judge by
No,
Daytona.
Daytona didn't count. Yeah, no.
But, man, I'll tell you what, that Jones boy, he shocked me, man.
Yeah.
Because you got that
He's a
43 car hasn't had like.
He was always.
They've had runs where they've moved through the field through attrition, guys wrecked, they adjust in the car, but right out of the gate, 43 was quick.
He's always been good though. So I mean,
Yeah, but
he's
in the
always
43?
Well, but the 43 now the car's a little more equal now. So I mean, you're gonna see
Right.
more of the drivers with their actual true talent come up through the field.
And,
so.
and there's still a few teams I was kind of hoping would be a little bit more equaled out. It still seems like the wear cars are struggling.
Well, yeah,
The live fast cars.
Well,
are
their drivers are
struggling.
just bad too. I mean, it's not even a matter of not even a matter of the cars. Those guys aren't very good.
Yeah, but when you're like 5-10 laps down because of nothing, how is it the driver? Is it the car? It's a little bit of both.
It could be, but yeah, I mean, Cody Ware's really bad. You could put Cody Ware in Kyle Larson's car, and he would still run 25th, 30th. Probably even worse than he'd probably still run 30, 35th. Quite honestly, he's really bad.
Yeah,
he's really bad.
So if your team obviously it's a family deal, but what kind of guys are out on the market right now that you think teams could look to bring in, like any veteran guys that are free agents right now to help build like a team, like kind of how Biffle's doing
Ryan
with
Newman.
New York Racing. Well, Newman's doing this SRX.
I
this
know.
race already.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool, right?
there's no chance of that. I'd say try and lure Casey Kane back, but he's not going to come back.
He's doing a full-time World of Outlaw schedule now.
I know.
We're gonna have to go check him out at Bridgeport.
Bridgeport, exactly.
I'll
Yeah.
be there. Gotta find my boy. That's my guy.
I miss him, man. I miss him a lot.
I do too.
He was
but
such
you know,
a beast,
he's
man.
enjoying what he's doing.
He is.
He likes
he is.
racing dirt.
He is.
That's his deal. So
He's
more power to him.
He's a good man. I miss him though. I really do. Selfish reasons, but I miss him. Miss Carl Edwards too. I wish he didn't leave abruptly, but
All right, man. Well,
that's what it is.
I look forward to you actually, maybe being home to watch the race this week. Not taking any more hockey trips.
I might be home if I'm home in time. Maybe, yeah. Cause I'm going to DC. I'll be down Saturday night.
Got another hockey trip this week. Big
It's
hockey.
for Valentine's Day. Yeah, I got my girlfriend.
Valentine's
She
Day's
likes.
past.
She likes the. I know. I got her tickets for the Kraken Capitals game because she likes the Kraken. So
Get crack-a-lackin'.
Crack-a-lackin'.
Crack-a-lackin'. Well, anybody's better than those orange guys from Philadelphia right now. We won't mention their name, but you probably know who we're talking about.
And for respects.
Well, we'll talk to you guys after Vegas unless you got anything else.
I got nothing else, man. I just hope the race is good this Sunday. That's all we can hope for,
I
right?
think they're going to be good every week
I
this
think
year,
they'll be
honestly. This is going to
Me
be,
too.
as Fox tried to say last year, the best season yet.
Well, that was a really good season last year.
This season's awesome, man. Fox is killing it.
Yeah.
You got Regan Smith going down, big slides and stuff.
Yeah.
You got Muse as, the pre-race promo music they play every week.
You
It's
got
awesome.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth up in the booth last week. They were
The
buzzing.
commentators.
They
we got Danica coming up now.
Ugh.
What's wrong with Danica Patrick, man?
Yeah, fair enough. She's
Everybody
just annoying.
loves Danica Patrick.
Do they?
No.
No. No.
I don't mind her.
No, she's okay.
She's very knowledgeable with the sport, so I'll give her that.
Is she?
Well, did you watch the SRX races she commentated last year? She She was very good on those. Her and Alan Bestwick, they were awesome together.
Well, Alan Bestwick was really good. I don't know if she was really that good, but Alan Bestwick should replace Rick Allen. But that's another story for another day. We got plenty of weeks coming before
I think we
have
can
to
do
work
like
on
a
NBC.
whole episode where we just rant on Rick Allen. But we'll save
yeah.
that for when NBC takes
Oh
over.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Because we're
Well,
big
pick
Fox
up.
fans.
That's
Although
that's
I have a
segment.
gripe with Fox.
That's a segment.
Bring Larry Mack to the track. Why is he in Charlotte?
Exactly. Bring him
Bring him to the track.
He's a great man.
Larry Mack there.
I got a picture with him.
Larry Mack's awesome.
I literally at Richmond. We were on pit road. We snuck on the pit road. Me and Pat did back in 2018, and he was sitting on the pit wall doing the pre-race thing with the camera. And we went up to him. We're like, "Hey, can we get a picture?" He's like, "Sure." He's like, "Giving us a hug."
Awesome.
And he said, "Thank you." So I was like, "Oh,
That's pretty cool.
thank you, Larry, man."
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I don't know if there's a NASCAR Sportscaster Hall of Fame or we just put on regular Hall of Fame, but Mike Joy and Larry Mack need to be there for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
And Rick Allen to the Wall of Shame. Sorry, Rick Allen.
No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
All right, we'll talk to you after Vegas.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, so we are here with the Low Line. This week's guest, Colby Evans. Colby, I'll let you plug your show and everything and introduce yourself.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Colby Evans. I'm the host of the ARCA Racing podcast. You guys have seen me on Twitter with all the Start and Park stuff. If you guys like watching the cars from back in the day, you're like, why'd they pull in after 3 laps? Well, I'm the guy who likes to post stuff about that because I feel like it's a part of history that's never really been talked about, and I figured that'd be a fun gimmick.
Sure.
That's very cool. And I mean, just, watching your stuff lately, I've learned a lot. You've seen cars like I forgot, like, oh yeah, that was a Start and Park car. That was a team. I forgot about them. And, I just thought, they didn't have enough car to run, kind of learning like, oh, it was like a money thing and they're just maybe out there for a money grab. So that's why NASCAR's kind of tried to pull the plug on that a little with these charter systems, it seems like, right?
Yeah, it is actually, you can, with this charter system, it is illegal to start and park in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
Even as an open car.
Yeah, because that was definitely probably a strategy of guys, right? So how did you get into, like, what made you being like, I just want to follow these low budget teams? Like, do you know people in the ARCA racing series? I see you have a couple of pieces up there on your wall,
Is that Timmy Hill?
Yes, that is actually the fluorescent orange Dodge that MBM Motorsports ran. That's the door off that car. And this is a Chad Fincham door. And if I can turn my camera a little bit more, that's one of the MBM pit signs.
Oh, wow.
Good deal. So how'd you get in that? Are you close to anybody, these teams? Like, how did you get into this world?
I was fortunate when I was 16 to come in contact with Carl Long over social media, and we quickly started a friendship. And he invited me out to the track when I was 16, and kind of an internship role. The mechanic part was I tried at it. I wasn't the best at it. I knew the basics of a race car, but obviously I'm nowhere near a professional. So I've kind of instead of doing maybe mechanic somewhat and then do a little bit of media stuff as well, I've just come to realization the schedule, these guys bust their damn asses, and I physically can't do it. Nobody realizes what a guy like Carl Long and his guys, they bust their effing asses every week. And even for me, just one weekend, I realized for me, I couldn't handle it. And so it made me new respect for them. I also met some ARCA guys in the sport. The guy I always plug, Brad Smith, he gave me a break because during COVID, I had previously worked with Wayne Peterson, but during the pandemic, ARCA had what was the word? Condensed their allotted amount of crew members. Their allotted amount of crew members that they would allow per car, and Wayne had already filled his allotment up. But he told me to go give Brad a call, and sure enough, Brad only had 2 guys. So, and ever since then, that was Iowa of 2020, and we've struck a really close friendship since. And so I got a couple of friends in ARCA, and I still got Carl Long as one of my main best friends in the series, and I'm lucky to have a guy like him who still believe he deserves more respect in this sport, and he doesn't get it, sadly.
Right. I think a lot of these lower teams that bust their ass, like you said, they deserve all the respect, for even going out there and being on the track with these guys. So that's why it's always so cool when you can see, one of those teams start to run good. I used to sim race with Van Alst, who was in the ARCA series. And I saw I think he got into it at Daytona, got taken out too, right?
Yeah.
But just hearing that story too of I remember like hearing like, you know, when they were getting their cars, bringing them in, like just buy these cars. You only have 1 or 2 cars. A lot of these teams do, and it's a real grassroots series. That's why I like, you know, try and watch it when I can. I'm going to my first ARCA race this year. I'll be at the ARCA race in Dover because they haven't really been there.
Yeah, the ARCA East event.
Yeah, they're doing the Friday. They're taking place of the truck weekend that's usually there, so I'll be there to check that out.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they get a good field size for you. We've been kind of struggling on the east side. Payouts are obviously not the best. The one thing I do really always love about the ARCA series that NASCAR I wish would do, but I understand why they don't. ARCA actually does list their payouts, and I think that's really fun because it really gives an insight to, you know, what an entry blank looks like for a young fan. Oh, this is what an entry blank looks like. Oh, this is what the teams are making. I understand why NASCAR doesn't do it, obviously, because their business a little bit more, you know, personal, you know, private. But I feel like that's something really cool that ARCA does that I wish NASCAR would do, but obviously I understand why they don't.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I was watching one of your videos. I thought it was so cool how I think I was watching the Reed Sorensen, that 91 team, and you were saying like, oh, you know, they start in park, they ran 15 laps and they won. They got $70,000 payout for fourth. Like that's cool stuff, you know, because you can kind of think like, all right, well, you know, they're spending this much on tires, their car. Like, I thought that was pretty interesting to learn about and kind of, you know, remember those days where we knew what the purses were.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very true. Now, how many ARCA races do you go to a year?
It's hard in the Midwest. There's not that many. I'm always at the Kansas events. I'm always obviously at the Iowa one. I wish they would keep running at Road America because I'd go there.
Yeah.
When they would run Gateway, that's not on the schedule anymore, but I went to Gateway. The two I want to hit are the DuQuoin and Springfield dirt tracks. They're only about 6.5 hours from my house. But with my job, it's just the time is just not there. But I'd love to go to one of those dirt races. But about 5 to 6 a year.
Forgot about DuQuoin. I used to. I don't know if you remember the ARCA sim racing they had on PC.
I didn't know that.
They actually had an ARCA sim racing game, and it was built off of R Factor, and they had the Des Moines track, the dirt track, or DuQuoin, the DuQuoin track, dirt track on there. I always thought that was such a cool track. It was real flat and that was fun to run. I always thought it was cool. That was the first time I ever like sim raced a stock car on dirt. So I always remember that track being pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the only fans who's never done sim racing. I don't have a sim rig. I'm probably the only racing fan who's never done that. I can't afford it, and I just don't have the time really to do it.
It is a lot of time. I had to take some time away from it with work and stuff, but just kind of getting back into it. It's a cool way to, you know, connect with drivers and stuff too. You know, you're bound to run into somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta ask this. Everybody always asks who's your favorite driver growing up. I'm not gonna ask that. Who's the driver you hated the most growing up? Like anytime they were in the wall, you were like, "Let's go."
Oh man, it had to be Kyle Busch.
That's becoming our weekly question, I think. Is that like your
yeah, I mean it's cliche to ask the favorite driver. You gotta ask the driver that hate it, you know.
We grew up as Earnhardt fans, and it actually wasn't the 2008 Richmond incident. I just thought he was just a slimy prick. I didn't like his attitude. I thought he was so cocky and arrogant. But now that I'm older, I realize he had the talent. He deserved to be cocky and arrogant.
Yeah.
He's only saying that because there was a KB flag back here.
No, come on.
Come on. That's funny.
Oh man, I think I probably have almost every driver somewhere in my room here.
Same.
So do you go to a lot of cup races too from time to time?
Again, it's the ones I can really hit. Sadly, I had planned to make Chicagoland Speedway a full-time part starting in 2020, and look what happened there.
Yeah.
Pretty much I can only hit Road America now, Kansas.
Gateway's on the schedule too this year.
Yeah, but I don't know if I had the money for the tickets. But I'd like to go to Gateway, so maybe only around 4 or 5.
That's not bad. Not bad.
Well, maybe get the Chicago street course in if that ever happens. You hear about that?
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not a fan of it. If Chicagoland Speedway is still operable, then just go back there.
It's a good track too. It's a decent track. It's got the cool curvy backstretch and everything. Like it's a dope track, but I don't know. It's NASCAR.
NASCAR.
They want more road courses.
They're going to change it every year. They're really on something with these tracks right now. So kind of going more into the not quite Start and Park, but lower budget things for like the Cup Series. Tell me what you think about this new car. Is this really going to even the field for these lower teams, or is it really not making a difference? Because so far, it's debatable.
Well, I think another thing I take into account is, and it's been talked about 1,000 times, it feels like, is this part shortage. Guys like Rick Ware and BJ, I doubt BJ has, if maybe just one backup car ready, might not even have one. So right now he can't afford to try his hardest.
Yep.
Rick Ware might only have one or two backup cars ready. They really can't afford to try their hardest right now because they simply don't have the equipment. If they wreck, to repair the car, I'm sure they could probably easily run top 20 by now because it looks like that it definitely condensed the field. But in terms of spare parts, they have to be safe with the car, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping to see, obviously Daytona's Daytona, but going into Fontana, seeing the Live Fast car up there, the Rick Ware car up there a little bit, and obviously they still looked off the pace. It was kind of encouraging to see the Petty GMS Trackhouse cars run really, honestly, just as good, if not better, than a lot of the big dogs, better than the Stuart Haas cars and stuff like that. So that's really cool to see. I wouldn't quite call them like low budget teams. Obviously, they're teams that are a little bit budgeted, but obviously teams that weren't quite on that, like I like to rank like A cars, B cars, C cars, like you're gonna give them like a grade school rating. Not quite up there this year. I think they're gonna be A class cars all year now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could even see it. I track the intervals just kind of like what Brockbeard does with last place. I always set my interval sheet to the back of the field, and I could just tell throughout this whole race, Garrett and BJ were lagging back. They were trying, but also maybe not really trying. And even then, it warmed my heart, though, to see that Fox rightly gave BJ the TV time that he deserved. I was so happy to see that BJ get TV time. And lo and behold, you stay out of trouble, 22nd place, and I was so happy about that.
Yeah, I like BJ McLeod. I know he was a guy up until a couple of years ago. Like I've always seen his name in the backfield, never really knew a lot about him, and then kind of I educated myself a little bit. He just dude just loves race cars. He seems like such a cool guy. He's great on TV. He was on the grid ball for the 500, I think. Was that the 500?
Yeah.
Mikey.
I think it was the 5. It was either the 500 or one of the dual races.
Yeah, maybe it was one of the dual races. I mean, he's got sick flow and everything. Like, you gotta like that guy, right?
It's good to get everybody involved.
Arguably one of the nicest guys I've ever met, honestly. First time I met BJ was 2013 at Iowa. He was an owner. And I met him back in 2018 again at Iowa. And it's just, when you can rock a skull necklace, a skull shirt, one of the coolest damn haircuts I've ever seen, and take a crap race car and drive 15th, you are a badass. Plain and simple.
Yeah. I agree. Quite agree.
But not mess with him either. That guy is.
Yeah,
he's stocky. He's pretty stocky.
But not mess with him.
Yeah, he's a big boy, man. It's good. So, what do you see out of like those kind of teams this season? Do you see by the end of the year them getting up there? Maybe once a couple more cars, the part shortage kind of resolves itself. Do you think realistically Rick Ware and Live Fast can put together competitive top 20s and run up there? Or do you think they're only going to get top 20s when there's a wreck fest like we'll probably have all season?
I know BJ, the driver, is capable of a top 20, but the car, I think it's the same thing he did last year with his Gen 6 cars. He went hard, but also went safe. And I think that's just kind of what BJ's just kind of used to doing, because we even see that with his Xfinity program. His drivers go hard, but they also play it very safely a lot of the time. So I would say, I think their program will step up to the point where they can probably compete with Spire, but I don't know about top 20. Top 25 is probably what I'd put BJ at, but would not shock me if we see Cody, Rick Ware at the short tracks really run well, but maybe at the bigger tracks not be as competitive. But I think Cody Ware at the short tracks could easily pull off a top 20, top 15 nowadays.
That'd be awesome to see. I mean, we saw it at the Coliseum. Obviously, I know some guys weren't trying as hard in the Coliseum races, I don't think. So maybe it was easier for him to run up there. And Ryan Preece as well was that RWR car. Yeah, and they've run good at short tracks in the past. I would like to see that, honestly. I've kind of come around on Cody Ware. I used to be like, he's just wrecking in the back of the field, but I've kind of come around on the dude a little bit. He's got a personality on him for sure.
Yeah, my philosophy. Sorry to interrupt you, but my philosophy on a lot of drivers really changed when I met them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's true.
I was not a Cody Ware fan, but the moment I met the guy and you hear his story, I wanted to talk with that guy for 10 minutes, but he had to go to drive introductions, and he's just
right. Yeah,
And-
I won't dive into his story too much, but if you don't know his story and you're listening to this, it might be worth looking into. I know he's probably talked on it on a few other podcasts, but he definitely has an interesting story. So worth listening to on Cody Ware, kind of, how he got to where he is, and it's good that he's still here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I really want nothing but the best for him now, and I really hope he can put together a program, because it's a driver like him. You wonder, is it just the car or is it him? Just like BJ. I feel like a guy like BJ is being held back because of his equipment. Same thing. I really feel like with Garrett Smithley and both Cody, they are being held back by their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they aren't good. They just can't push the car hard enough, because if they wreck it, they don't have another one.
True. That's true.
Well, wanted to keep it a little bit short today. Keep our videos nice and short, but it was awesome to meet you and talk to you, dude.
Yeah, of course.
Next Rick Ware or Live Fast Motorsports Spire Top 20, we'll have you jump back on, and we can debrief that.
Yeah, of course.
Man. And we'll probably talk to you on the show again in the future.
Yeah, awesome, man. It was great having on.
Yeah, dude. All right.
Do I hit the leave button? Is that how I do this?
Oh, yeah, you can leave, you can hang around, shoot the shit for 5 more minutes or whatever. But yeah, dude, it's good to talk to you.
Thank you for listening to The Low Line.